I'm here with Brian Cates, investigative independent researcher and journalist. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, David. Thanks for having me.
So I wanted to ask you, first of all, just get your quick takes, your rundown on all the different big events that have happened in recent times, and just give me your quick analysis because we'll run through a lot as much as we can because I know you've got a lot of angles on all the different stories going on. Let's start with the biggest one, the attempted assassination of President Donald Trump. What was your reaction when you saw it happen, right when it happened, and what are your conclusions as far as you've been able to research this matter so far?
The CIA really messed this up. I mean, usually they're pretty good when it comes to launching a coup and taking out politicians in other countries. But somebody really bungled this, and the CIA has couped over 70 countries since the end of World War II. They're the reason we're bogged down in this Ukraine thing. We're having to send endless billions of dollars to Ukraine because they couped the government there in 2014, and they've been supporting one side and the attacks on the Donbass in 2014, and that civil war going on there for all those years. So the CIA in my opinion, they were behind this assassination. Um, they're asking the public to believe some 20-year-old loser was able to penetrate all that supposedly cracked security, and climb up on that roof and take a rifle and an explosive device with him. And he was able to hunker down on that roof for several minutes and wait until Trump came out onto the stage, and then he was able to get off several shots at Trump's head. And everything they're telling us is bullshit. Everything they're telling us doesn't make any sense. And this is coming out, when they had Kim Cheadle, the Secret Service director, who resigned like a week ago. And then the new guy that the Congressional Committee was grilling just yesterday. Nothing they're saying makes any sense. That they knew there was a threat, that they received a threat from Iran. It was a significant threat. The intelligence looked good, but they still allowed Trump to go out there and do this rally. And even after they know there's a kid out there with a rangefinder that looks suspicious, they let Trump take the stage. Nothing they're saying makes any sense. The fact that the playbook is known. They always have a patsy. They always have some guy that they can say, okay, there's no questions to be asked. Here's the shooter. The guy's dead. There's nothing. It's all a post-mortem to figure out how this happened. But there are no other shooters. There was nobody else involved. It was just this lone 20-year-old kid that did this. And they're very good at setting up this narrative. I've watched them spend the last 2 weeks hammering that narrative into the public consciousness. How did Crooks pull it off? How did Crooks do it? How did he get onto that roof? How was that roof? How was the hole left in that security? Okay, and they're drumming the fact into people's heads. This kid was by himself. He did this alone, and it's very clever how they do it. So, and another thought that I have about this assassination attempt is that um, these people have been doing rally security for years. Okay, they try to come up with all these excuses why that roof didn't have any agents on it. Why this kid's able to get up there and take these shots, and we find out that Trump was given the B team. I think I did a column last week where I talked about Trump was saddled with the B team. They were most of the people who were in that security detail, Butler, Pennsylvania, that day, were not really Secret Service agents. Okay, that what they did is they cobbled together a team from agents from different federal agencies, like Department of Homeland Security has the Homeland Investigations Division, okay, HSI. These people are criminal investigators. They're not bodyguards. They don't have any training to provide close personal protection at rallies and things like this. They're not trained to do this sort of thing. But somebody decided that for that rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, they were going to cobble together. I can't even really call it the B team. I'll call it the F team. Okay, they cobbled together an F team.
Mhm.
These people from ASI, these people from the ATF, these people from this other agency over here, and they quickly threw together a team. And unless you understand how close personal protection is done, bodyguarding is done, how the trained professionals do it, that team probably looked pretty impressive from a distance. They're all wearing suits and sunglasses, and they have the ear thing, and they probably look good. But man, the moment stuff went down, the first shot was fired, it all fell apart because even ordinary citizens watching that don't have any training could tell how uncoordinated, unsure these people, like they didn't really have a grasp of how to respond to Trump, literally having piece of his ear shot off and having to duck down behind the podium. And pandemonium breaks out. If you want to see a team that knows how to react to an assassination attempt, go look at the Reagan assassination. They immediately bundled, they forced his head down and threw him in that car. And one of the agents dove in front of him and literally took a bullet in the stomach. These people just stood around and looked for a couple seconds, but what was that? And it was obvious they had no training. And so when Kimberly Cheeto was directly asked several times during her testimony,
She was the
how
guard.
many
I think
of
Elon
Trump's
Musk said that she was the guard for the Cheetos warehouse before this position.
yeah, she was asked several times directly how many of the people on Trump's security detail that day were not Secret Service, and she would not answer the question. She did not want to go there. But I would not be surprised to discover if most of those agents were not really Secret Service. And that's deliberately leaving the barn door open. I mean, I did this column that you can link. It was like 2 weeks ago, and the title of it is I'm find it real quick. If you wanted to kill a president and make it look good, how would you go about it? This is the conclusion I came to based on everything I knew on July 27 when I published that column. Wouldn't you take concrete steps to deliberately compromise the ability and the competency level of his security detail? And yes, if I wanted to kill a president, that is exactly what I would do. I would make sure he got an F team around him that day. I would make sure there were no drones. I would make sure there were no bomb sniffing or dogs capable of smelling firearms. I make sure that there's no drones, there's no dogs, there's no coordination between the Secret Service and the local law enforcement, that they're not in contact with each other. That's exactly how I would set it up so that Operation Gladiator team, that CIA assassin team, is able to slip in there. They get their patsy on the roof, that they're going to immediately kill after they take their shot at Trump. And then they're going to extract. And so that's exactly how I would set it up to compromise the ability and the competency level of that security detail. And that's what happened. And it's coming out, they don't want to admit it, but Cheeto and now this guy from yesterday, I think his name is Rowe, R-O-W-E, and they keep having to say the most inane stuff, that they should know. They're constantly saying they don't know things, they don't have information. It's been like over 2 weeks, and then they say, well, I can't answer that question.
Two
And he
minutes
was saying,
ago, Colin Rugg just posted breaking news video filmed by a Trump Pennsylvania rally victim shows a person running on top of the roof where Thomas Crooks shot from just moments before Trump was shot in the face. The video was obtained by Fox News and filmed by James Copenhaver, who was shot twice. The video was taken at 6:08, just 3 minutes before Crooks opened fire. It's unclear how the snipers did not pick this up. The dude's running across the the roof.
stuff, stuff keeps coming out, David. I mean, you had the interview yesterday. They showed one of the local law enforcement people talk about how there's no coordination. They didn't hear from the Secret Service team until after Trump was shot. There were no comms between them. It's just mind-boggling, and it's all coming out. So it used to be they could manage or finesse the fallout from an
Yeah,
event like
back when there was 3 TV outlets. Yeah, it was pretty easy.
yeah, the Warren Report, and they made it look good, but we're in a different time now, and most of the public has woken up, and they don't buy the official narrative. The official authorities have lied to them so many times in the past couple of years that I like to use the term mojo. They've lost their mojo. Okay, you have to have people willing to buy in
Yep.
to a
Yeah, it's
narrative.
like a willing suspension of disbelief, like in a movie, right? You have to have people willing to suspend their critical mind and accept the movie. And if it's too ridiculous of a movie, the audience won't suspend their disbelief. They'll just say, this is garbage, And that's what's happening to these myth makers, right?
And so I think questions are going to be continue to be asked, questions and answers.
Yeah.
People keep coming forward. Those whistleblowers now. I'm sure you've seen that letter written by one of the counter snipers that he wrote to say that it's not just Tito. There's like 4 other people that they need to, that the rank and file need to see resign. And he wrote this letter, and it's an amazing letter. And so I think we're going to continue to see activity like this, and more facts are going to come out about this assassination attempt, and they're not going to be able to manage it or finesse it like they used to be able to.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the issue with the home that Thomas Crooks lived in was as clean as a lab? They said there was no silverware in the house and it was spick and span clean, like a meth lab or something. What's going on here?
Well, they always do this with the patsy, the guy the fall guy that they're gonna put out there, so they can try to prevent all these questions from being asked. Like they were able to point at the body right after and say, "Hey, look, we got him. Here's the guy who fired the shots. He's dead." So there's no conspiracy. There's no group.
What do you think that guy was hoping to get? Do you think he would? Do you think they promised him he was going to get on to some island or something, or what was his like? Why would you go up there unless you? I mean, I guess you're just. I mean,
And with the type of mind control and the MK Ultra stuff that they're doing with a lot of these shooters, it's hard to say.
talk about mind control. That's what I saw on stage with Kamala Harris at Megan Thee Stallion was dancing around, and it looked like mind control. Like they were putting their audience into a stupor.
I mean, I didn't know what I was looking at when I signed on. I was out doing some stuff. One thing that one reason people aren't seeing me online as much as I used to be is because it sounds funny to say this, but I actually wrecked my health because I was online so much from like 2017 to last year. And so I'm rationing out my online time now. I'm online maybe for 2-3 hours tops every day now.
Good.
Instead of 8 or 9 hours like I used to be.
Good.
So I've been up and doing things, and I logged in and I saw that rally and I saw this lady dancing around. I looked and I had the caption, so they was putting out the lyrics that were being sung. I was like, what the
I think it
hell
was an
am I looking
interpretive.
at?
I think it was an interpretive dance, like a biography dance for Kamala Harris's origin story.
And then it's, oh, that's the Kamala Harris rally. Holy
Yeah.
crap. And so yeah, I mean that's something I've been writing about. I put up a post just the other day. It was yesterday. Word salad Harris won't last long against
Yeah.
Trump. And I don't think she will. They put a lot of effort and time and money,
Yeah.
into launching her or in her
Yeah.
media, in a bubble. All these media people talk to each other about how fantastic it went. Oh, that was such a brilliant campaign launch. Oh, that went off just swimmingly well. And they're pretending like this campaign has a heartbeat.
Mhm.
And it doesn't. Okay, it's all a media illusion. It's
Yeah,
all
that big rally they showed was because they came to get a free concert for Megan Thee Stallion. She's a very popular artist in the hip
yeah,
hop.
she's a
Yeah.
popular artist. I mean, I know who she is. I
Yeah.
don't follow her music, but I see, I mean, on an event that's like, they're playing a part of a song by Megan Thee Stallion. I go, oh,
Mhm.
I know who that is.
Yeah.
But it's like with that other lady that I don't know if they can even say this. Who was that lady that did Wet Ass PUS? That's why. I know who that is. Don't follow her music. I don't do that. But it became so culturally prevalent you couldn't escape it. And
Mhm.
so that's what happened. And they're trying to pretend the Harris campaign has a heartbeat.
Yeah.
It's like these people have lost their mojo. That's the word
Mhm.
that I like to use. I like to use the Austin Powers clip, where he's lost his mojo. Okay. The thing that used to allow these people to control the national conversation, to control the public's perception of events, they were very good at casting illusions. Like it's almost like a form of witchcraft when you think about it. They're able to cast a spell over the public. And
Mhm.
then they put out all the video. I mean, all these fake news organizations coordinate together to give an overwhelming impression to the public.
Yep.
This is this is happening now. Okay.
Yep.
And they're doing it right now with the Harris campaign. But the problem is that the thing that they're hoping that they can overcome. These are the same people that just spent the last 3.5 years viciously and relentlessly gaslighting the country that Biden was fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden he's
And
not
they told
fine.
people,
Yeah.
look, and then they were telling people just before Biden went out there and face planted at that debate with Trump, they were telling people, stop falling for those cheap fakes. Stop asking us about that latest video where Biden comes out and wanders around lost. He appears to not know who his wife is. Stop falling for the cheap fakes, okay? And that was their narrative, and they were all saying it. It was coordinated. They were all saying that. And then Biden went out there and fell flat on his face, and now they can't hide it. So they shifted gears immediately. Biden has to go. Okay, actually, all right, folks. Look, we know we lied to you for 3.5 years about this. All right, but that's besides the
Yeah.
point. Biden must go now. Okay, the
Yeah.
election is coming. It's very important that we stop talking. All right, we'll deal with the fact that we lied to you and that we gaslit you viciously for 3.5 years. Let's deal with that later. Right now, we need to get Biden out of there and replace him. And so they launch a coup. They manage to do that. They get Biden to agree that he will not run for. Somehow he's good enough. I guess he's well enough to be president for another 6 months, but he's not good enough to run for re-election. Okay, think about how incoherent that narrative is. Okay, so they're telling people, okay, Biden's not going to run for re-election, but we have Harris. Harris is going to run for re-election now. And then same people, mind you, that just viciously gaslit the country for 3.5 years. The Biden was sharp as a tack. Here they come. Don't you just love Kamala Harris? Isn't she awesome, people? Isn't Kamala Harris a powerful, heroic person? Isn't she exactly what this country needs right now? What an amazing campaign launch that was. I can't believe how fantastically well that went.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're all talking to each other like this. And they're all in their media bubbles, selling this new illusion to the country. Okay. And I'm telling you, and it's going to take about 2 weeks. Okay. Today is July 31st. All right. By April 14th, go back and look. Okay. They cannot maintain this illusion. They've lost their mojo, David. They lost it. Even people who were still up to this late date, still believing in the fine people hoax, still believing all the authority figures that were telling them Biden was fine. They've been rug pulled viciously over the last couple of weeks. These people have, a lot of them have woken up. We see this on social media. People saying, "Wow, I thought the fine people hoax was
But
real."
but what about the tens of millions of people potentially who know they've been lied to, but their hatred for who Trump is and who he's supposed to represent allows them to say, I don't care if these guys have lied to me over and over again. I want to hurt those people. I want them to suffer. I want
Okay.
to destroy Russians. I want to harm these people. I want to hurt, the forgotten men and women of America, folks. I want to tear them apart. I want to hurt men. I want to hurt this group. I want to hurt that group. I don't care if they lie to me. I want to see them suffer. That's a lot of people, isn't it, or not?
I don't think it's as big a group of people as you think. Okay. A lot of people are waking up to the fact that the only reason they've been hating Trump all these years is because they were lied to. They were hoaxed into hating him. Trump was a Russian agent. The reason we don't like Trump is because he's in bed with Putin and takes orders from Moscow.
Yeah.
That's not true. That was never true. That's been disproven. The
Mm-hmm.
only reason I hate Trump is because he says our military men that died in service to the country were suckers and losers. That's why I don't like Trump. That's another hoax. And then, of course, the big one, and I think it is. I don't think it's an accident. This happened. This was finally debunked by Snopes of all people, just before that debate happened between Biden and Trump. Snopes comes out and look, the evidence that this was a hoax, it was always there. The entire full video quote, anybody could have gone and looked that up online uh, right after Charlottesville. Okay. But Snopes comes out and said, okay, folks, turns out no, Donald Trump never did really say that neo-Nazis are fine people. And they played the entire quote. Okay, so that was a hoax that the public, a segment of the public was gaslit into believing for a number of years. And all of a sudden, it was okay for everybody to suddenly say, yeah, that was bullshit. That wasn't real. That was a hoax. And what you're seeing happening now is you see a lot more black people come out and support Trump. You're seeing a lot more minorities. Hell, you're seeing Silicon Valley billionaires come out and support Trump. You're seeing segments of the country where up until just a few weeks ago, it was unthinkable to come out and publicly declare Trump support. And the reason that's happening is because so many people have figured out that their hatred of Trump and their view of Trump was influenced by hoaxes. It was influenced by media lies,
Yeah.
and the lies are coming unraveled.
Yeah.
And the more lies that come unraveled, the more people are forced to go back and look again and
Mm-hmm.
reassess the man.
Yeah. Um, when you look at what's going on with the Kamala Harris psyop, do you think that Obama is still holding out hope to replace her with somebody he would prefer, or is that ship sailed now?
I'll tell you what, I've been studying Kamala Harris since I first became aware of her in 2017. There's a reason I call her Word Salad Harris. That's my nickname for her. Some people have nicknames for their favorite political subjects. And I like writing about her because she is a when you dig into her, there's so much there. How's she got to start? You know, they're trying to wall that off. Nobody can talk about how Kamala Harris got to start. Basically, being girlfriend at Montel Williams and um, servicing Willie Brown. And that's how she launched to public life. And you find out how when she rose to become Attorney General of California, what she was doing while she was there, all the black men that had been thrown in jail for weed and other things while she was smoking weed herself in private. When you dig into her, the more you find out what a lightweight mentally this person is. At least, okay, and let me say this, at least Joe Biden was in DC long enough. He knew how to play the game, how to present himself as a smart person. Kamala Harris gets up there and she cannot handle any pressure. I've seen this over and over again. The moment she's asked a challenging question, her brain, you will literally see her brain lock up. Okay, and she will freeze, and that's when the word salad comes out. That's when she starts babbling all kinds of stuff. So when it comes to, is she going to make it onto the ballot in November? Is she going to be the actual DNC candidate that goes head to head with Donald Trump? My current take is I don't think so. I think they're gonna spend another week or so pretending her campaign has a heartbeat. They're gonna keep trying to desperately gaslight the country into buying into the illusion that they're currently weaving. Okay, but they're gonna realize that it's not working. And I've been using that scene out of Young Frankenstein, you know, when Gene Wilder, they just hit the monster with all those lightning bolts, and he's praying for a sign of life, and he doesn't get one. And he starts freaking out. What did you do to me? What did you do to me? I do not want to live. Okay, and he put all this time and effort and money and blood and sweat and tears, and there's no life there. There's no heartbeat. Okay, and we're gonna go about another week, maybe a week and a half.
When's the convention over?
And they're gonna realize there's no heartbeat to this freaking campaign, none.
When is the convention?
The convention, yeah, okay. I always off the top of my head. Let me look it up. The DNC, I know it's in Chicago. I believe it's the 18th to the 22nd.
Don't you think that because they're really good at smoke and mirrors that they'll get a bump at least during that convention? Like, because they bring out every celebrity, they bring out, you know, all the emotional manipulation.
It's actually the 19th through the 22nd. It doesn't start on the 18th, it starts on the 19th, August 19th. Okay, I want to correct the record and make sure I get.
Do you think she'll stay? Do you think she'll stay afloat with the magic trick of her inevitability through that convention, or do you think it will already be done by then?
The problem that they're facing right now is they're trying to manufacture something for her that does not exist. Okay. They can only take the illusion so far, David. There's only so far they can play, let's pretend, all right, with each other, you know, and their fake polls, the fake polls that came out there. My good friend Seth Kishel just did a column today about the latest fake polls that came out from, I believe it was Bloomberg and Morning Consult, trying to pretend that this race is neck and neck, you know, between Harris and Trump. There's only so much they can do to maintain the illusion, all right? And I don't think they have the mojo left to keep this up to November. They don't have it. And so I think they're going to panic. It may be just before the DNC, David, or it may be at the DNC, but they're going to panic when they realize that the illusion, there are not nearly enough people buying into it. And they're gonna panic, you know, they're probably gonna do something desperate. So that's my current take.
Very interesting. I want to ask you one more question. We'll leave it there, which is, if Trump wins, do you think he'll have the leverage and the courage and the wherewithal to tell Netanyahu to take a hike with his exploitation of the American military and our support for their endless conflicts over there?
Yeah, you're right, David. You're putting your finger on something that a lot of people are not willing to talk about. Okay, and that is that Israel controls the U.S. Congress. Every single one of the members of our Congress has an iPad monitor. The only one that doesn't is Thomas Massey. He's saying he's the only one that doesn't have a monitor. All the others do. And the reason that no matter what happens, no matter how many times the American people signal our Congress that they don't want to send any more billions of our money to Ukraine, the reason that money will never stop is because that's what Israel wants. There is a connection between Israel and Ukraine that most people have not figured out yet. They do not understand why it is vitally important to Israel that Ukraine continue to receive billions and billions and billions of dollars. And we already know most of that money is not staying in Ukraine. It's not really being utilized there in Ukraine. We know our fair percentage of it is being stolen and embezzled. And nobody really is tracking where any of this money goes. And it's not allowed to be tracked, actually. Remember when the last Congress before this one was on its way out the door, they tried to pass a bill to allow the tracking of the money being sent to Ukraine. Democrats killed it dead. So they don't want anybody to know where that money actually ends up. I think it ends up in Israel. And so they have a vested interest in continuing this. And so that's why I think Trump has sent several messages recently, including that letter that he wrote to Abbas of the PLO when he publicly released. And a lot of people think Trump is 100% on board with Israel and Netanyahu. They think he's on board with them. He's going to give them whatever they want. He's just another, pro-Israel all the way guy. But if you know how to look at what you're saying, you can see that Trump is aware of what's going on. He's aware of why the money to Ukraine can't be stopped right now. He's aware of why the U.S. Congress is controlled by a foreign power. He's aware of all of this, and I think he had to be careful how he addresses that situation, because one of the reasons this is such a touchy subject is that you end up trying to counter about 70 years worth of brainwashing in American Christian churches, where they're confused about the difference between the biblical Israelites and the present secular nation of Israel. They're confused on the two. They think they're the same thing, and they're really not. So I can see Trump making certain moves. And yeah, I think if he gets back in office, he's going to shock a lot of people, because he's going to certainly shut off the money spigot to both Ukraine and Israel.
Well, Brian, I really appreciate your time. Any last thoughts and how we can follow your work?
Well, David, you can find me on x.com at Draw and Strike, and I'm on Truth Social at Brian Cates. And I have a Substack. Just type in briancates.substack.com, and you'll go right to my Substack newsletter, which I keep fairly active. And there's nothing there that's behind a paywall. All that content is free to read. I'm actually supported by subscribers who volunteered to pay for a subscription.
Wow.
And so that's awesome. I'm actually able to do this type of journalism full time because people support me by paying for a subscription when they don't really have to.
Wow, that's how you know you've made a connection with people. So good job. Thank you for all the research you're doing, and also in other areas like nutrition, which we'll have to have you on again sometime to talk about. You're doing good stuff. So
great. I'd love to talk about that, David. Let's do it again sometime soon.
Take care. Thank you.